Our interview today is with this founder of Astronomer. Yes, the Coldplay Astronomer. It's Ry Walker. Now, Ry launched Astronomer in 2015 and walked away in 2022 during their $213 million Series C when the business was doing tens of millions of revenue. And his new company he launched is really special. In the next 20 minutes, he's going to show you exactly how this serial entrepreneur went from zero to product market fit in 60 days, why he believes that AI agents will 10x his revenue in the software development market overall, and lastly, how he's going to land $1 million per year Fortune 50 customers. Plus, he'll show you why merged pull requests are his North Star metric and the creative way he's actually getting marketers, not engineers, to virally spread his product. Let's jump in. Hey folks, my guest today is Ry Walker. He is a Cincinnati-based entrepreneur and software engineer. He's the founder and CEO of Tembo.io. It's an AI developer teammate we're going to talk about here in a second. Before that, though, he co-founded Astronomer, obviously in the news today. We'll talk about that as well, and Differential. He's recognized for his leadership in tech. Ry is also an active investor. Ry, you ready to take us to the top?
I sure am.
All right. This was so funny when I was preparing for this interview. I was trying to share my screen and show you this. I'm going, man, Ry, because your team reached out to me. I said, how do I know this guy? And I remember you were one of the OGs on the podcast back in the day. This was literally 8 years ago. I think you had just hit 60K of MRR at Astronomer.
Yeah.
The early days.
And that was probably alive back then too. I don't even know if I told you the truth, but I'm sure you get that a lot, right?
That's funny. Yeah, I think you just raised $2 million. But anyways, we have to obviously talk about it, like at least quickly before going to Tembo. Astronomer's obviously in the news right now, famous Coldplay concert. What's your involvement now there as a founder?
Well, I left the company and left the board in 2022. So, yeah, not super involved. However, I have some great friends. People I hired are still there. Especially a group of college kids. Their first job was at Astronomer, and they're still there from a program called DFA, Venture for America, out of New York originally. Yeah, so I have some friends. Obviously, I talked to them a bunch during the which I called Coldplay Gate situation, and it was a pretty crazy time. I tried to siphon a little bit of attention over to Tembo during that as well, to some success. But yeah, it was a
People don't give you enough credit. They see you and they go, oh, he's an engineering founder, but you've got a marketing gene too, yeah, siphoning off
I mean,
attention, right?
yeah, you got to do something. But I also wanted to support them too. I think companies been going for a long time. I still have some equity there too. So that's, again, I do have, a horse in the game there, but
Yeah.
it's,
And what prompts, I mean, we do have a lot of second time, third time founders that listen to this show. And so I'm always curious, what prompts someone like you? I mean, everything we know publicly about Astronomer, I mean, when you left in 2022, this thing it's doing great. It's in the dev tech space.
Mhm.
It's growing like a weed. Wayne, why decide to sort of leave? Were you maybe just bored or something else? Can you share your story and transition to Tembo?
Yeah. I mean, I tell a lot of people this, especially in the entrepreneur ecosystem. I was offered a chance to sell my shares in secondary at our Series B, Series C rounds. This was the ZERP era, and I said yes. As basically the way I saw it was, I'm a founder, sitting at a poker table with a big giant pile of chips, and I have no money in my bank account. And someone says, "Would you like to leave the table?" It's like, yeah, let's make this equity real. So
Mhm.
I had a rare chance of making that happen without the company being acquired. We just had a lot of interest in our rounds, and I'd been doing that company since 2015. So 7 years in. I also had hired a CEO. We hired a CTO. We hired a bunch of leadership, and so I just wasn't. I'm an early stage person. I'm a from zero to blank person. Not what they're doing now. It's not my talent.
He's very good at keeping the revenue numbers private. He goes, zero to blank, not quote what they're doing now. Right? I can't get anything out of it. But no, right.
Yeah,
So it's a good story, right? Because a lot of founders, like they don't think about it like a poker table, but it is. I mean, you, for whatever reason, you've been around the block before, you knew 2021 was crazy, right? So when
mhm.
you saw the competition, I think the Series B, what was it, 45, 46 million?
What? How much the company raised? Astronomer.
Total raised, yeah.
Astronomer raised like $300 million in a few years. Yeah, that's 380 now, or 390. Yeah, so they raised 300,000 from Series A 2021 to um 2023, 2022.
I guess what I'm getting at here, though, is most folks are going to be surprised what you just said on the secondary because what they're taught from all the press is when a founder does a secondary, they usually then stay at the company, right? Now they have some liquidity, they want a second bite at the apple. You took liquidity and then actually left.
Yeah, yeah. It's because I had hired a CEO.
I
Bottom
see.
line was I was I was founder emeritus was my official title and board member at that point. And like I basically said I'm too young to have a title that has the word emeritus in it. I mean, not too young, but just too young.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Bottom line is like I just we I was I wasn't needed there anymore, and I could be more valuable to myself and the world doing something new.
Yep. All right, let's pivot into Tembo. Um, I'd love for you to. I want to get your founding story, but I actually don't want to bury the lead. I want to talk about what it is today. Can you tell us a
Sure.
customer that's paying you today, and then we'll go get the backstory?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're basically building um, essentially a digital software engineer. Call it AI agent, whatever you want to call it, but a teammate that you can assign work to, and it does the work and kind of behaves like a software engineer would, except that it's awake 24/7, 365. It can work in parallel, and it never says no to anything you ask it to do. It never says, "Can you hold on a minute?" It gets
Yeah.
started right away. So, there's been great advances in AI software engineering tools. Most of those tools, though, today are behind software developers. So there's a human gateway for non-technical people to access those, and we think that should change. So we're basically trying to build, an agent that, in the same way you could ask your CTO to do some work for you, you could also ask Tembo to do some work for
Mhm.
you, and it gets done well, and it gets done, in some ways better than the humans do it.
Can you give us 2 or just so that the non-engineering audience can follow along here, can you give us 2 or 3 of, like, the most popular one-liner prompts that folks might use? For example,
Yeah.
take linear card and push it via GitHub or whatever. Can you give me 3 examples?
Yeah, I mean, imagine you have a corporate blog and you just shipped a new feature. You could say, write me a blog post about this new feature. Look at this repo to understand what the feature is. So, like a marketer could literally tell it to inspect the source code to to find out all the things that just happened in the code base. And the AI is really, really good at that sort of thing. So, it'll just generate the blog post, create a pull request in your GitHub, and you can tweak it from there. You can actually just prompt it to say, "Hey, can you go a little more into this and remove this piece and so on." So, it's very, like I said, it's very similar to what if you just had a software developer sitting next to you and they will just do anything you want whenever you want. Um, that's the feeling it is. So yeah, we use it to generate. If I found a misspelling on this web page that you have pulled up right now, I could just prompt Tembo to say fixed. Linear is misspelled, and it'll just like find that in the website and fix it. Yeah.
Really interesting. It's almost like how people use, like, Lovable today, but Lovable, you're coming up with a brand new landing page and talking to it. This is basically a marketer or a CMO or CRO could actually talk to it without having to bug an engineer to do something simple like a spelling change.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing about it is it doesn't actually make the change. It creates a PR, a pull request that
Ah.
your technical team has to review, and so you can't break anything with Tempo. You just queue up work for your technical team to review and accept.
All your CTOs love that. They don't want the marketers breaking stuff. This is cool. All right.
No, no, yeah.
Everyone's trying to figure out how to price these things, right? Is it number of
Yeah.
minutes saved? Is it number of API pings? Is it number of whatever? You've priced successfully at many past companies. How are you pricing this thing?
We started with just pay as you go. We don't want a subscription to get in the way of usage. Like the challenge right now is big behavior changes are coming with these tools. And if you're paying $200 a month and don't feel like you're using it, you're going to cancel it. And now it's gone. So we just decided to say, like, this is sort of a revolutionary idea and just buy credits. And
We're
it's very similar to how you would pay, again, like a contract developer. You pay them when you use them, and you don't have to pay when you're not using them.
Mhm. One of the hardest parts about hiring a contract developer is if you're paying them on a per project basis, you have to do a really good job explaining the specs so you know what you're
Yeah.
paying for. I'm looking at your credit page right now. Never having looked at this before, I'm going, okay, well, what does 100 credits plus 25 credits actually mean for 100
Yeah.
bucks?
Yeah, and it's, the way I like to describe it is it costs usually about 5 to $10 per pull request. So if you ask for a spell change, it might only cost 1 credit or even
Okay.
less, so $1. And you say like, oh man, $1 for fixing a typo, that seems expensive. And I say, how much would you have paid your developer to do the same thing?
Mhm.
Probably more than $1. If you're paying them $30 an hour, can they get that done in 2 minutes? You
Yep.
know?
So is that the best analog here? Is the pricing page we're looking at right now? If I'm paying 200, I should assume kind of like that's 200 pull requests I'm getting?
No, I would say it's more like I like to say an average of 5 credits. It's on the high side, but sometimes you ask it to do something that might spend 20 credits. So we don't know.
Nice.
Like these LLMs are sort of mysterious. You asked it to do something hard. We use Claude Code inside. Maybe you've heard of Claude Code, and Claude Code will keep working at solving the problem until it's done. And so
Mhm.
to me, the more money you're spending on Tembo, the more value you're getting out of your engineering team because you're getting them work to approve. So
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of companies are having this attitude with their engineers. They winning means spending lots of credits on engineering, not less credits.
Yep. Interesting. Can you give us some sense of product behavior today? Are people paying on average $1,000 a month divided by 5 per PR? So that's 250 PRs per month, or what's like
Yeah.
your sweet spot?
But yeah, we're in the process of rolling out some plans where so let's say that you've decided you like this. Maybe we'll have $1,000 a month subscription. Everything's bespoke right now, but we plan to have subscription plans that you can't really give people like unlimited use because there's just too many ways to abuse that. But yeah, we want to give you the ability to hire us and pay us a salary as well
Mhm.
as, pay us hourly, which is effectively what this is right now.
Interesting. Okay, but what's your vision though? SMB, mid-market enterprise, you think your average customer is gonna be paying $1,000 a month going forward, at 20
Oh,
million a year?
no, we'll have $1,000,000 a year customers. We have, Fortune 50 prospect right now that, they have nothing like this. There's no product really like this in the enterprise space. There are tools for engineers. That's what the current state, but there's no tools inside of, say, a Fortune 50 company for anybody in the company to find any typo anywhere on any of their web stuff, and they could just, like, type a message to to an agent, and it'll figure out the right repo, create a PR, get it to the right person to approve it,
Yep.
without having to know the ins and outs. So I think it's a huge, basically, the more developers, the more people you have, the more powerful this tool gets,
Mhm. Right, are
more
you
valuable.
comfortable sharing today? When did you launch? What month did you write the first line of code for Tembo, and when did you land your first paying customer?
Yeah, so we pivoted from a previous thing. I won't talk about the old business too much. It was a managed Postgres, very
Okay.
technical and boring. We launched this company in 2022, November 2022, which is essentially the same time that ChatGPT came out. So, we were building a Postgres startup at the same time that AI was coming of age, and it was early this year. Just in April that we started pivoting towards this and made the full jump over back in May. So literally just a couple of months ago.
Okay.
Um, we've had 200 companies create pull requests with, well, I don't know if they're companies, 200
People.
organizations, yeah, create pull requests with this. We've had you know maybe 30 customers paying us something. It's all again pay as you go, but I would say we definitely have some addicts, and that's good.
Yeah. How do you it's so fascinating for me to get in your head because, like, look, I'm guessing what Astronomer's revenue is today. I'm assuming it's well of 80, 90, 100 million ARR, and you, like, are talking with such excitement about, "Man, I'm
I
looking at
know.
my 30 users every day. People are getting addicted. I'm getting excited." This is, like, so different. This is, like, 1/100th of what
Yeah.
the largest enterprise customer at Astronomer is probably paying. What are you sort of obsessing over in these early days? This is good stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, 0, to get to a 100 million in revenue, you have to pass through 10, you have to pass through 100, you have to pass through 1,000. So, this is what early stage is all about, building something that people want. You're doing it quickly, in 2 months to build something that people will pay for is a hard thing. We're in a very competitive space again, but yeah, I don't know. This is what is fun. If you don't enjoy this stage, this is the good old days. I always like to say we knew it going in through an astronomer. Like the good old days are now.
Mm.
Everything's gets worse from here in terms of like, at least for me. That's probably my own bias, but I'm not a big company fan. So This is the best time I could have.
That's funny. And I imagine you look at this, how many total pull requests have gone through the system? I guess, is it
Yeah.
right? Is this a total lifetime to date? That's probably the right
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. So the one metric that matters to me is merged pull requests. So basically, when a developer accepts it, that's the end of the value chain. And so yeah, we've had 1,000 or more merged pull requests so far. We've had 2,000 people sign up, so that's a
Mhm.
pretty good ratio, I think. The product was really pretty bad for the first month. It's gotten a lot better lately, but yeah, I would just basically say if you have any company that has at least one real developer on their team should also use Tembo because it's an amplifier.
Yep.
Uh, Even if it's just times 1.05, and you spend $200 on it, just take their salary. We have a calculator on our website and an ROI calculator. If you're spending
Hey,
$200,000 on someone,
let's look at it together because I love
yeah,
marketing things like this where you can help basically give your sales team a tool to
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
attribution immediately. So where is it?
uh, Tembo.io/ROI.
Okay, we're on it.
Yep.
Say it again.
Uh, uh, Tembo.io/ROI.
No, no,
Yeah, there you go.
explain it.
Oh,
Or I
oh
wrote
yeah, oh
in.
yeah. But
Yeah.
so here's the example. Is like if you have one developer, um, can you change that to one?
Yep.
Yeah. And let's say we're just going to increase it by 10% or 15%. That's fine. Cost $200,000. If you're paying Tembo just $3,000 a year, what's that? 500 bucks a month. No, that's 250 a month.
Mhm.
You're getting $30,000 more developer work. So you should be willing to do that. So, anyone who has a one developer and you start changing the math here, I think we can get to 40, 50% of the code being written by Tembo. We're seeing that ourselves. So, obviously we're the biggest addicts of all, but
Yep.
um, it's pretty simple. It says like, if you can get a multiplier on your most expensive set of employees, you should really look hard at that. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. A lot of I don't know if you want to call it knocks or not knocks, but the gross margin landscape of people building software where SaaS is 80% gross margin versus you guys, you said you sit on top of Claude Code. I won't ask you for total like monthly revenue right now. You're in the early stages, but if you do it on a
Yeah.
percent basis, if you take 100% of your revenue last 30 days, how much of that went to Claude?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually don't even have the math on that. It's definitely more than 100% of our revenue is going to Claude right now.
Yep.
But that doesn't matter. This is like at pre-scale. You don't have to look at you're really trying to figure out at scale. At scale, our biggest customers will bring their own keys most likely. So
Oh, so
at
you're going to
scale,
offset that, you think?
yeah. So at scale, we're going to be selling software. How do we price? Again, I think we could price it based on value too. I think I can get a Fortune 500 to pay me the equivalent of one developer if I can amplify 100 developers, by 10%, if not
Yep.
more. So yeah, I think we can get value-based pricing on our product. And now, the other risky thing in this space is it's so easy to make software. It's so easy to knock off someone else's product.
Yes.
So I think like
Focus.
So I think GTM's like the new moat. Like if I had a squad of 200 sellers selling our product. I don't care how good your product is. It's hard to beat us. If they're, I think we're gonna have a lot more. Um, it's like to me, it's like the equivalent of like restaurants or car brands. Like they're all cars. They all look a little different. They're all pretty good. They get the job done, and that's how software is going to be. I think here it's going to be hard to be truly differentiated and have a big moat.
Yep. Rye, before we wrap up here, Facebook was famous when they were getting going to saying, listen, we know the activation metric is 7 friends in 7 days. If we get, or something
Mhm.
like that, if we get them to do that, they're going to pay long term, right? Or the ARPU is going to go up. For you, you've had 2,000 signups life to date, and you launched about, I think, 4 months ago. The pivot was done.
No, 2 months ago, really.
It took you
Yeah,
2 months ago. So you
yeah,
had
yeah.
2,000 signups of users representing 200 logos or brands, of which 30 have converted to paid. And together they've had 1,000 merged PRs, which is your definition of that value loop.
Yeah.
What usage metric do you want your users to say where you go, man, they're going to be a long-term customer. I can upsell their whole company. We can get from one engineer to 1,000 engineers. Is it one merged PR per, like what is it?
Oh, yeah, it's a good question. I don't have the answer to that yet, but I definitely think it's more than one. I think that, if you did 10, for example, so we give away 50 credits, by the way, when you
Okay.
sign up. So that's the equivalent of about 10 PRs worth of credits. So
Yeah.
I think after about 10, you're going to find a couple that you were like, oh man, that was a game changer. And we hope that, yeah, there's so many tools to experiment and play with right now, but we're trying to just build the most dead easy, simple user experience that people will come back to, embedding it in their own tools. So you can, from Linear, you can assign work to Tembo. From Jira, you can assign work to Tembo. So
Hmm.
yeah, we're just trying to make it as just natural as asking a real developer to do work for you.
Hmm. Hmm. And how many folks, you gave a marketing example earlier of a blog update. How many folks, like I'm in your sign up flow right now, are engineers signing up versus like people who are non-engineers signing up?
Yeah, those questions are being added right now to our onboarding. But I would say it's mostly all developers, except for when we talk to our sales team is basically talking to the a lot of non-technical members of the team. And they're the ones that get the most excited about this. Like people don't love bugging developers for little things, but yet little things need to get done. So it's
Uh-huh.
a nice alternative to to trying to distract your developer or
Yeah.
um,
Like
yeah,
I would get stuck here as a non-marketer person signing up, right? I'm like,
yeah,
crap, I have no idea what
yeah,
this is.
yeah. Do you even have a GitHub account?
I'm
So
sure
yeah,
probably, but I have no idea how to do it in integration.
yeah. So one of the things I talk about is, by the way, I'm having Tembo write a book about itself. And
Nice.
I'm like 9 prompts into that. But one of the things that we're going to say is like, in order for you to be valuable in this world, you need to understand what GitHub is. If you're building software, there used to be a time where you could sit on the other side of the wall. But this tool allows you to come, the wall is dissolved. And so you're gonna have to learn about GitHub and PRs and all that. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just say if you have a website, if you own a website, ask your dev team to give you an account and yeah, you might get you know you might get a look, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to help them, um, get more done and focus their energy on the stuff they want to do versus the stuff they have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in. I got past the thing, and I'm like, and now when I know what a
Yeah,
repo is, but I'm
there
not
you
quite
go.
sure this one. Like maybe my engineers they labeled the marketing one marketing, so maybe it's the marketing
Yeah,
repo. I'm just seeing how far I can get here with
yeah, cool. Yeah,
no engineer. Okay, so 50 credits free, which is great, which is basically 10 PRs. Da 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 da.
yeah.
Da. Are you as I'm going through this? Are there any steps you're sort of testing here actively?
Now we've decided to simplify onboarding. We used to have, if you click on the integrations tab up there in the top left,
On top
you see
left.
that? Yeah, there
Yep.
you go. You got it. Like we have integrations with Sentry and Linear and Jira and and actually the database, we can watch your database. And if there's bad slow queries, we can fix those automatically. So but we took all that out of the onboarding and just say like right now, so you have your marketing website. So you could type right now any change to your marketing website and it should create a PR for that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really cool. So
Yeah.
that will drive my engineers crazy if I just wrote a test. But I could basically type here, hey, you know, uh, you know, uh,
Yeah.
change the metadata on the blog to a headline that says Founder Path is the AI builder,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
something
That's
like
right.
that.
Yeah. That was the description for the meta tag, for
Yeah,
example. Yeah. You could
like
certainly do
that.
that. Yep.
Interesting. Very cool. This makes a ton of sense. Really exciting. What do you hope happens over the next year? I mean, what's
Well,
your target?
click create. Let's do it.
Click rate. Okay.
They're not going to be mad at you. They're going to be like, what the hell did you just do? But it's good. Now you're going to they're going to have to look at us and now they're going to have to sign up too. So it's good.
Oh, smart. So you have a
Yeah.
nice viral coefficient there. To look, he
Yeah.
giggles. This is a founder that's done this before, right? He's like, viral
Yeah.
coefficient, baby. Let's go.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
And we have a lot
cool.
more planned, by the way. We have like a phase 2 that I'm not talking about yet, but it's like a 10xer on top of everything we've done. So we think
So
this is a huge space. Software development is a giant market that's only going to, I think it's going to 10x just because now that it's easier to make software, we're going to make 10x the amount of software.
yeah. All right, this is good stuff. Let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, is there a founder or CEO you're studying right now?
Oh, no, not really.
All
Be
right.
honest.
Number two, is there a what's the most recent book you read, whether it's on business or just for personal fun?
Um, Shoot, and now I'm kind of basically going back on my first answer, but one of the books from the Snowflake guy, I can't think of the name of it. I can't think of
Uh,
the name of the guy or the name of the book, but Snowflake
yeah,
CEO.
you're talking about the CEO, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was called, wasn't it like from zero to billions or something like that? No,
I
no, no,
can't.
no, no. It wasn't that. It's the
Yeah.
CEO. I know what you're talking about, though. If you guys just Google
Yeah.
Fred Lutman, CEO
Yes.
book, right?
Frank. Yeah, Frank Slutman. Yeah.
Frank. Yeah.
There we go.
Frank.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, amp it up. Amp it up.
Amp it up. Yeah. That's pretty important for us. I think we're in an amp it up era right now.
Yeah.
You know, like all the stuff that they did, they did it in an era that it helped them become who they are. But I think now if you don't do what they're talking about in that book, you're dead. You know, you're going to be lost in the sea.
All right, number 3. Is there a favorite online tool that you have for building the business?
Ooh, yeah, I have to say GitHub. Yeah, yeah, I'm in that all the time. But linear, I think linear is probably my favorite SaaS ever. Just how exquisitely designed it is and perfect in virtually every way.
It's just it's almost like you wouldn't be impressed if you just hit linear as someone who doesn't use it, but we also use it. It's just how simple everything is. It's the right things at the right moments with a
Yeah.
lot of white space.
Yeah, so if you're using linear and you have like a backlog of things, you can install our linear integration and just assign stuff to Tembo, and it'll do those tasks. So
And why? I guess that's a good question. Right now, when I pass a task to my engineering team, I'll record a Loom video and I'll create my own linear card and assign it. Why is that
Yeah.
better or worse than just going through Tembo?
Well, why? First of all, like if it's late at night and you want it to be done now, you could, if you have the ability to test the PR that's created, like in other words, if you're semi-technical, it's a way to like basically you can do this stuff on your phone. Like you can be, oh, this linear issue assigned to Tembo. You get a preview link, you open it, you're like, oh, that's right, merge, and like you can like kind of like do build stuff on your phone. You could be at the beach and make progress. So
I love that.
that's
All right.
fun.
All right. Number 4. What situation today? Married, single, kids?
I'm married with 3 children. Yes,
Wow. Okay. And how old are you, Ryan?
I am 53. So yeah, they're getting to the age where someday they'll have kids, but not yet.
That's awesome. All right. Last question. What's something you wish you knew back when you were 20 years old?
When I was 20, wow, gosh. Well, when I was 20, I wish I would have known to register. There was a time when it was free to register domain names. I don't know if you were around when that happened, but I wish I would have registered a bunch of domains back then. Like there were a lot of squatters and they were breaking the rules, but man, to great benefit. I followed the rules and just got the domains I needed. But man, yeah. We're actually trying to get tembo.com right now, and it was registered in 1997 and like
Jeez.
barely ever used. So we'll see.
Buy more domain names. There you go. All you 20
Yeah.
out there, buy more domain
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
Well, guys, there you have it. Rye Walker from Tembo.io. I love that he's not sort of on the coast. He's actually building great companies in Cincinnati. Most recently, founder of Astronomer back in 2015. Yes, the Astronomer in the news. That thing scaled. He took a nice secondary in their Series B, Series C-ish rounds and said, you know what, I'm going to go jump into this new idea. He launched the business, Tembo, but then pivoted actually just 2 months ago. So that would have been, we're recording this July 30th, 2025. Just recently pivoted, already has 2,000 signups, users across 200 logos. His value chain is how many merged PRs has Tembo enabled, especially non-marketers, to process, right? This is a massive unlock in terms of productivity. He's got 30 paid customers on a credit model right now. We'll see what happens next. Rye, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you.